for what they showed on Sunday. But it's still, difficult to pick them over a team with the pedigree of the Ravens.
It'll be interesting to see. I can say that 90% of the people that we talk to on a regular basis here had the Browns at 0-3 heading into the bye week. So they're already ahead of a lot of people's expectations. It'll be interesting to see, and we'll look more into it as we get closer here with the old Browns and the new Browns, baby, and maybe, just maybe, with that buzz. I will say that I had people at the game that said they can't remember the last time that Cleveland Browns Stadium felt the way it did as far as the crowd rocking at the very beginning of the game. It was a much more organic buzz than what there's been the last few years. Going to be interesting to see if that reignites the old Browns, new Browns rivalry now that perhaps the home crowd feels that they got the chance to be competitive in this thing. It'll be interesting, John. I think it's going to be a hell of a football game.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it. AFC North games, hard hitting. So, let's say hard hitting if the NFL allows them to hit hard.
There you go. There you go, man. That hit Cutler took last night. Did you see it, man? He got speared right under the sternum, man. I thought for sure that was going to be a game changer there, but stepped up and kept at it, man. But anyways, John McMullen from the Sports Network every Monday with us here on the Sports Fix, talking about the entire slate in the NFL, and it was a good week of football to end a rough week off the field. John, enjoy the upcoming week. Hopefully there's more football and less non-football to talk about next Monday.
We can always hope. I'm not going to guarantee it, but there's always hope.
No, not at all. John McMullen, have a good one, my man.
All right, thanks, Jerry.
Thank you. John McMullen from the Sports Network. Always a great conversation. As you can tell, we went extended today. We're well into overtime. Lord, I hope I can find Dan Wismar up there somewhere. He's been waiting around for me, man. It's like at the end of the Titanic, man. I won't let go, but he may be sinking into the abyss. Let's go find Dan Wismar, bring him here, talk a little Tribe. We'll talk some Browns. We'll talk some Buckeyes, baby, as they smashed the competition as expected this weekend. And got a tough one coming up. Is there another, I don't know, do you even call it an upset? You got to, because it's in state. Is there a upset alert coming? We'll talk about it with Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan. Coming up next here on the Sports Fix.
We here at the Sports Fix are very in-depth when we interview the sports stars.
Oh, I saw the whole thing, dude. First you were all like, whoa, and then we were like, whoa, and then you were like, whoa. What are you talking about? You called serious thrill issues, dude. Oh, awesome. Oof.
Maybe not, but you should still listen.
Hey, Cleveland, this is Ed Doherty, voice of St. Ignatius Wildcat Football, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Paul Warfield. There's just one place where students are students first and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports help young people become confident leaders and role models and use the skills developed today to do even bigger things in life tomorrow. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Miracles can happen when a team works together.
2 out, bottom of the ninth. Down to their last strike.
The same is true in the fight against cancer. That's why MLB has teamed up with Stand Up to Cancer. Together,
41,000 on their feet.
We can make cancer.
What a buzz in this.
Stand up with MLB at standuptocancer.org.
The Sports Fix is now available every day on the iHeartRadio app. Subscribe to the show.
At the corner of Carnegie and Ontario, it's basketball time.
Have you gotten your copy of Cleveland's Finest yet? Members in Cleveland sports history?
Hit a three-pointer on the side.
In-depth personal interviews with some of the top names in Cleveland sports fill the pages of this incredible book, discussing crucial details of the largest moments in our town's sports history.
The Indians have won the divisional title.
A perfect game for Len Barker.
What a win for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
This book written from the player's point of view. With the media, finally, the true stories are told.
The Detroit Pistons have been booby-trapped.
From a perfect game to a World Series, one pitch from victory. From a Wildcat high school dynasty to the golden days of the Browns, Barons, and Crunch, this book will change the way the entire sports nation looks at Cleveland.
Cleveland October to remember.
Cleveland's Finest by Vince McKee is this year's must-have book for every Cleveland sports fan. Available now at Amazon.com.
Away back, go!
Get your copy today. Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by GV Art and Design. It's not just a shirt, it's a statement. GVArtwork.com.
See, Sloopy will hang on even if Rose McGowan lets go, man. Leonardo DiCaprio, it's a sucker game, man. Never believe them, man. They'll fall asleep on you, and you'll sink down into the abyss. Welcome back to the Sports Fix. J-Rock back with you. Rolling on here as we get ready to be joined by my man Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan. Thanks again to Don McMullen from the Sports Network. We had a whole lot to get into. I'll tell you, when we reached the halfway point, I'm like, woohoo, we get to talk about some actual football on the field here, man. And sad thing is that if you're a football fan, it overshadows a lot of good games and good action, but unfortunately that's not part of the consideration because we didn't ask them to go do what they do, but you definitely have to talk about all of it. So thanks to John for being with us. Thanks to you guys for being with us. We continue rolling on. Dan Wismar with us, which means you can keep it rolling on Facebook and on Twitter. Facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE. I know Dan was part of the big Ohio State crowd. Unfortunately, they had a less happy ending with that throng of people back at the home opener for them than at the Browns yesterday. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Indians. We'll talk about the Buckeyes with my man, Dan Wismar, right now. So let's do it. Dan, how you doing this afternoon? Dan Wismar, you with me? I know he's there. I see him there. I'm going to hang up on him and have him call back again. I don't know what just happened. Dan, call me right back. Phone lines are open, waiting for you. Anyways, as we roll on, Ohio State, as you hear the music in the background, 66-0 victory over Kent State. Nothing too surprising about that. You like I was telling somebody, I was on the road wrestling over the weekend. They're like, "Hey, a big win for the Buckeyes." I'm like, brother, you are supposed to beat Kent State 66-0. So, not being that guy, but that's just the truth. Let's try this again. Dan Wismar, you with me?
I can hear you, Jerry.
We're good. You're here, man. You're here. All right, we're good. Welcome in. How you doing?
Doing just great. Yeah, good weekend. Browns and Buckeyes wise. I think maybe the team of destiny went off the rails a little bit, but we were hoping to play meaningful games in September, and we were doing that. So, but I think this is where the playoff dream dies for the Tribe. But let's concentrate on the good news.
14-game winning streak. That's all I got to say, man. It's coming. Mike Brandenberry wrote an article just for me, and that's all there is to it, man. No, tough one. The one thing you couldn't do. I know we'll talk about some better things, but you couldn't go and lose all three of them, unfortunately. Like I said, man, you can definitely see the gap closed between the two teams, and you can see where the next few seasons there's going to be a very good battle between the incumbent Tigers and the upstart Indians and Royals over the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. What a little puzzling to me this morning is hearing this and all weekend. Wow, it's a shame we just can't beat the Tigers. We got to figure out a way to beat the Tigers. Well, we were 8-8 against the Tigers going into Friday's game.
Yes.
And last year they were 4-15. This year 8-8, and they lost the series on two late homers that cost them 8th inning leads. So it's not as though we were overmatched against the Tigers this year. Now you might say that the Cabrera-Martinez troika, feasted on us. There's no denying that. You got to figure out a way to get those three guys out. But the Tribe held their own against the Tigers this year until a couple of unfortunate late inning bullpen meltdowns. So I'm not disheartened about that. And in fact, the Indians have done very well against all the Central Division opponents this year. I don't think there's any Central Division opponent that they have a losing record against. Could be wrong about that, but I think that's true. So yeah, again, you're right. It shapes up to be a competitive and exciting division for the next several years, and I think some people are, sleeping on the Orioles a little bit there, and maybe sleeping on the Angels. But I look forward to the playoffs. I think it's going to be great. I just Tribe's not going to be in it, and I've pretty much resigned to that fact now.
Hey, wait a minute. Talking about getting your feet back on the ground is not the same as saying definitive statements like that. There's a 14. There's a matter of a 14-game winning streak here, man.
I got to admit that I did not predict that 10-game winning streak at the end of the year last year. I was not on that 10-game streak. So yeah, it's not to say that it can't be done. There could be a late season collapse.
I'll let you guys talk me down a little bit here, but we're not going to just jump that far just yet. Now there's still life. There's still
not quite
life.
ready. We'll humor you until next Monday.
Humor me? No. Okay. You know what? When you see, there's scenes in every good sports movie that have this conversation in them right now. I was joking with Jonathan Knight. Actually, I was joking about the Browns about this because I sent him a text, and when I mentioned that, I said these aren't your children's Browns, and I said we may just remember this season as the return after 15 years of football, regardless of, I'm not talking about championship, just of actual week-to-week competitive professional football. And he was laughing back and forth with me, and I said, that's the way, I can't remember the way I said it, but it had like a witty journalistic take to it, and I go, now in a few years, that's the opening sentence of your next book, right? That's where you start it, and you go, here's the line, and then we watched it, and he's like, you're probably right, man. That's probably where I started. I said, yeah, that day we went, hey, wait a minute. But yeah, and joking about the Indians, I said there's always that scene in the movie where the one guy left is hanging on and everybody else has abandoned him. I'm that guy. At this point in the season, I'm that last guy hanging on, man.
Well, it's funny you say that because it's kind of a running joke, and how when you sit with the same people at the games year after year, and I'm talking about the Browns now down in Section 129, my buddies, you go there every year. It's it's Happy New Year, and you're nice to see everybody. And we have a running joke that when the Browns score in the first quarter or the first half, we go up a touchdown or whatever. My one buddy that sits next to me, I turn to him and I say, we can say we were here when it all turned around. And that's sort of just been a running thing.
This is the moment.
This is it. This is the start of the new life for it. So there was a lot of that yesterday, but I tell you, and I tweeted this last night. I just it was great down at the stadium yesterday. It was just it was an electric time. It was just a fun event to be at, and the crowd was just so in it right from the get-go, and it just so helped that instead of laying a big fat egg in the first quarter like they've done so many times, and we've all seen it on home opening day when they failed to take advantage of what was really crowd excitement and hope and everything, that they delivered right out of the gate with the first three possessions for the Saints and just stomped them, and Kruger had the huge sack that just got everybody all fired up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I tell you, everybody that's been there throughout, because we have seen this movie. I mean, and I think the people that are there and have been there since '99, I'm talking about me and everybody around me that I know and all the other 50,000 people that I don't know, nobody expected that last drive to happen. No one that had been there and experienced 15 years of bad football, it really, really in their heart of hearts thought that Brian Hoyer was going to drive down the field from his own 4-yard line with 2.5 minutes to go in the game and score. Because, we were just looking at each other. Well, we were looking at each other giving that knowing nod and wink after we missed the extra point. We've all been there saying, well, so that's how we're going to lose this one, 17-16. We were going back to 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago when the Eagles came in. Maybe it was longer ago than that one. We lost the home opener 17-16 to the Eagles and Michael Vick, and we beat them up all day. We had the lead all day, and they drove down the field. And the last play of the game, they throw a little dink pass at the goal line. The ball goes right through Craig Robertson's hands at the goal line, and the tight end for the Eagles catches it, and they win 17-16. I mean, we're all having that same flashback, and you could talk about 2 or 3 other similar home openers all the way back to a thrown helmet that the Browns have always figured out a way to lose that opener. Obviously, that one was on the road, but